This is the Lean Builders Hoots on the Ground podcast with absolutely, positively no bullshido. Join us as we dig into exactly what lean construction is and how we can use these concepts and strategies in the field. This podcast will be different as we journey to job sites and mine the minds of lean builders, all in effort to pass forward building knowledge from those who have put their time in to learn a better way. Because that's just what lean builders do.
What's up, y'all? Adam Hoots here, the lean builder, Hoots on the ground with no bullshido. And today, I got my man, your man, Mr. Jesus Jesse Chuy Hernandez. Say what's up, Jesse.
What's up, baby? How you doing, DJ Hootie Hoo?
Man, I'm great. I'm actually going to go behind and drop me down. It seems like I need to upgrade my my internet speed, or maybe my boy's home playing some Fortnite or something. We'll see how that goes a little bit better. I'm super excited to introduce the folks to you again for the second time. You and I was just listening to our episode number 5. I believe we've both matured a little bit. I don't know. What do you think, Jess?
I think you need to speak for yourself. I have not matured, my friend.
Nice. I'm excited. So give the folks just a quick, whatever your 30-second, 1-minute introduction, who you are is. And if they want to know more, they can always go to the last one. But who are you real quick, Jess?
You got it. So I am an obsessive, totally committed individual to leaving the construction industry better than I found it. I started my career back in 1995 as a plumbing apprentice. Dad's a plumber. I spent just over 20 years on the subcontractor side of the business, and went from installer to foreman to superintendent to I did a whole bunch of amazing things over there. And then I went to the dark side. I went to work for a general contractor for about 3.5 years. I had regional responsibility, which was a big, gigantic leap for me that I anticipated failing at, but turned out I did pretty damn good at it. And then I went on, my next role was I had national responsibility for a major brand in the States here. And through all of that, having been out there doing the work and playing in the different buckets, like it would be great if I could say I did it by design, but living that life, I got to see some really important things that helped me serve forward-thinking, people-centered leaders in major ways. And fundamentally, the big thing is the way we listen, or other people would say communicate. But I think it's specifically the way that they listen and the way that they systematically demonstrate appreciation for the people in their charge. And I'm here to spread that and help other freaking leaders out there do better, or at minimum do the same. That's me.
Yeah. And so because you are, I guess, you're one of my lean idols. I'm very intentional this year. Oh, I'm not flattering you. Yeah, timeout, because I'm about to cut your legs out. Don't worry. I'll say this. I'm being very intentional this year about getting my lean idols on this program and using a lot of the tools that I've learned from you, through you, with you, and continue to learn with you. But I don't think you did yourself justice there, man. I know you as a sub and a GC, but you also have this owner's rep perspective. You also have this safety mindset. You have this continuous improvement mindset. If you're a podcaster, and maybe your intention was to just get me to introduce you for you, but let's maybe go a level deeper of who are you personally, Bess?
Yeah, again, I think personally, I am a selfish servant. I serve others for my own sake, right? Because it's the way that I stay sober. I'm just over 9.5 years sober now. And I discovered, again, through my path, right, of all the cool things, you forgot to mention that I'm a 2-time author. But anyway,
yeah. I mean, I had a reminder right here. I think. Yeah.
And so I learned through my path also that the value of serving others for me is fulfillment. Like all the other things that I was trying to accomplish, the books, the podcast, the promotions, the raises, right? I mean, there's a lot of things. I went to the Craft Olympics as a third-year apprentice, and nationally ranked third, which is really just losing, right? But anyways, some people think feel like that's a big deal.
It's a great story too that we covered in the last podcast of how that went down. Actually, yes, sir.
Yeah. And so, chasing all of those accolades or shifting my thinking from acquisition and accomplishment to contribution is what keeps me sane and sober. And serving others is how I do the contribution of the special gifts and talents that I've been blessed with, which keeps me sane and sober. And so, I mean, fundamentally, it's that, right? That's who I am. I am going to serve, and I will continue to serve those who reciprocate, and those who don't know how to reciprocate, they get to the back of the line because it brings me fulfillment, which keeps me sane and sober. And it's just this beautiful cycle that helps me discover new ways to serve others, but also, interestingly, helps me discover other gifts and talents that I wasn't even aware of. And so, like, having that life experience, like outside of the lean stuff and all the other crap, having walked that path, like if you read my first book, you'll read the story. Like all of the arrests and all of the crap that I've done, most people would not be where I'm at today under those conditions or based on those circumstances. And I have to continue moving forward because I'm living proof that you don't have to stay stuck. I'm living proof that you don't need to have any kind of degree, credentials, or pedigree to have major impact on a freaking industry and on the world at large. And so fundamentally, it's that, like, how can I serve so that I can take care of myself, but also so that I can be a beacon or a lighthouse or whatever analogy to others, right? I like, for real, I didn't have an internship on the trades. I went through 4 years of apprenticeship. I was doing the work for a decade and a half before I got into management. And so that skinny little troublemaking apprentice, the last thing on his mind was to be having a podcast and doing multiple live streams and speaking nationally and all the other stuff that I do. But it was because I finally discovered that little secret of sharing my gifts and talents to others, with others, because it keeps me alive. That's who I am.
I love
it. Is that more gooder?
Yeah, man, I can check that box now here. I have an agenda here. Box checked. Yes, sir. Okay. I feel good now. How have you served me, Jess?
I think I wish I had a customized answer for you, but it's the same playbook for everybody. Number one is listen. Number two is ask more questions. And number three is call out what I see. That's how I serve people, right? Like that's the formula, that's the copy paste. And through the process of doing those things and lots of practice, particularly on the listening and asking questions, helps me serve people to the greatest degree, or at least to the greatest degree that I'm capable of. So that's how.
Yeah, I'd like to add one thing to your number one that I think you do also. You watch, right? You don't just listen.
Yes.
But you pay attention. Like you're very intentionally strategic about paying attention to actions, people's nods, light bulb moments. I've heard you describe it sometimes as. So I think it's like listen, watch, pay attention, ask more questions, or maybe you don't. Maybe you just listen and you're kind of paying attention, and then you either ask more questions or don't based on.
No, that's a good thing to think about, right? Because back to the whole listening thing, it is the most underutilized, highest leverage technology out there. And people are jacking around with friggin' AI and dashboards. Like if we just listened more, our lives would be different, 100%. Now, to your point though, when I'm listening and like the paying attention thing, I'm not just listening to mouth noise, right? I'm listening to the story you're telling yourself. I'm listening to your body language. I'm listening to the tempo, the tone. I'm listening to the actions. I'm listening to your say-do ratio, right?
You're listening with your eyes is what you said last time. Yeah.
You got it. Yep. Listen with the eyes and the ears, which requires me to ignore everything else that is around me. And so I think that's another big problem we have, right? Is why can't we listen is because we have so many distractions, things pulling at our attention, and we're afraid to ignore things. And I don't have a problem ignoring things. I get a lot of hot water, but that's the reason I can listen with my ears and my eyes, because that will help me get the whole story.
Yeah, I'm caught on the word selfish servant. I really like that. I appreciate that because I think that could be a slippery slope in either direction, right? Depending on who you're feeding. If you like a selfish servant could feed themselves first versus feeding other folks. One must be nourished to serve others. Where did you come up with that term, and like what is? Just tell me, like, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I mean, you like talking about systems thinking, right? So if we think about a virtuous system, right? How would you describe a virtuous system, Adam Hoots?
It is first off, this is my podcast, homie. I ask the questions around here, all right?
I'm looking.
Just to humor you, I would say a virtuous system is it's a system of or series of events that depend on one another, that live on in perfect order and harmony forever because they're self-organized and self-improving.
Yes, it's self-reinforcing. Okay, so that's why the selfish servant thing fits perfectly. Is because and you pointed it out, right? It's a slippery slope. If I overserve myself and don't serve, that's why it's one thing. It's not two separate pieces. So it builds the momentum. It is the virtuous system for me because I have to serve and I have to take care of myself in order to better serve, right? I have to listen and I have to share what I see in order to have the impact that I want to have. And so it's the balance of, yes. And I guess back to your original question is like, where did that come from? It's like, there's a lot of people out there in the omniverse that know I'm a friggin' egomaniac. And it's true.
There's a peacock there for a reason, big dog.
There, right? Now, there's also a lot of people that recognize me to be very giving and very generous and always available and supportive and all these things. Both of those are true. And so I have to take care of myself in order to serve others. So that's where the selfish part comes in. I have to serve others so that I don't slide into my egomania. And so that's where the selfish servant idea is like, yes, I am a servant. Like I have to be. If I didn't have to be, I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I have to be a servant, but it's not just because I'm a saint. It's so that I can stay alive. It's so that I can stay out of prison. It's so that I don't put other people in danger like I used to. So there is a selfish motive to my service. And I don't want anybody to get confused in thinking that I'm this like altruistic, just really nice guy that does things because he thinks it's nice to be nice. Like, no, I'm doing it to stay alive. It's what's the word? Self-preservation, man. Like for real, for real. Now, do I get fulfillment? Hell yes. Do I have impact and love seeing like you said earlier, the light bulbs come on and people say, oh my God, I'm like, hell yes, I do. And I want more of that. And so in order to get more of that, I have to serve.
So all good systems have feedback and feed forward and concurrent controls.
Mm-hmm.
What are the control mechanisms that allow you to be a selfish servant in the right directions?
I don't worry about the right directions because right is relative. Now, in terms of the controls, I would say I have my personal advisory council. I have my thinking time, and I have my direction. And those three things are the controls to help gauge when I'm off a degree or two or 80 in terms of what it is I'm doing, where I'm serving, how I'm serving.
Gotcha. I'm going to go ahead and just tell the people, if you want more about that, just reach out direct, because I feel like we could get lost talking about any one of those three things.
You get lost in Jesse land, baby. Watch out. You never come out.
Well, and I love the Jesse land, and so I want to stay to the thinking side of it. And it feels like very, again, intentional and strategic. Take people down the line of how your thinking has matured from young Jesse, I think you said skinny installer, through, GC or all your 20 years with subs, your time with the GCs, your time with the owners, time as a consultant now. How has that thinking matured and developed?
So I'm gonna answer that too. There's two lanes to really think about. One that'll help anybody in construction or in management for that matter. And then the other lane, I'm going to frame it in the lean box, because lean is in the title of the damn podcast, right? So for the first lane, how has my thinking evolved from that time when I was that super skinny, ripped 18-year-old plumbing apprentice to now?
Operation, you can see my abs.
I mean, I still have them. They're just kind of covered up now. There's three big things that I was able to observe, like in reflection in terms of my thinking, that I try to help leaders and ambitious make it happeners adopt. And so one is Zoom level. And so when I think about Zoom level, in terms of like career growth, it's really a question of, when I'm making my decision. When I was an apprentice, my decision making was based on making my day easier, which often was not to the benefit of my team, right? If there was a new bandsaw, a new cord, and it wasn't mine, it was in somebody else's gang box, I would take their shit and give them my own stuff, right? Like, I want to have the best stuff. And so my decision-making then was solely based on me and my convenience and my comfort, and often costed or impacted the performance of the team. Well, then as I progressed journeyman foreman, my decision-making, my Zoom level changed to thinking about making decisions to best benefit the team, not just me anymore. But I didn't care about the company, right? Because I wanted my mijos, right? My best apprentices and my best journeymen, I wasn't sending them anywhere because they made my life easier and my team performance better. I was a booger flicker, right? I would give them the bad people that I didn't want to do anything with. Well, then I finally got into management, and then it's like, oh, my decision-making wasn't just about my team anymore. I'm making decisions that benefit the business. So yes, Adam, I know you want to keep your number one helper, but he has a skill set that we have a gap on this project over here. So for the business, I need him over here just be mad. You'll get over it. You're going to be mad at me though. Right. So now my decision making is zooming out. First, it's just me. Then it was my team. Then it's the company. And then fast forward to now, I'm not worried about a company or one company. I'm worried about the damn industry. And so in terms of the maturity from when I was that super hot, freaking good looking apprentice, that's how my thinking is matured in terms of my decision making. The other one, I'll just make one more point in this area, but same thing in terms of levels, because it really helps me connect with the different levels of the organization. So like you said, right, owner's rep, GC, trade, management, foreman, installer. I've lived all of those lives, which I didn't do it on purpose, but has given me a special, like unique insight to serve my clients with, because I've been there. Anyways, so the other thing is like understanding people's time horizons or their time zones, or meaning as an apprentice, even a journeyman, I was check to check, baby, right? Like I wasn't thinking beyond Friday. I didn't remember what I was doing in the morning most of the time. And I think it's a natural thing because I've been able to see it in other people, right? When you ask an apprentice or even a journeyman, what's your 5-year plan? Which I think is the most generic question in the world. But like,
what's the better one?
How do you like to make people smile?
Yeah, okay. I'll take it. Sorry to interrupt. I just know you're the questionator. I had to ask.
Yeah. And so I needed help to expand my time horizon. So as an installer, or we'll just say entry level into the industry or into the work world, I'm not thinking in quarters. I'm thinking in days and weeks. Now, as I became a foreman, got a little bit more responsibility. Now I'm thinking in months, right? Because I have a damn monthly meeting and I got to think about production and all this stuff. And then when I got into like middle management, superintendent, all that other stuff, now I'm thinking in quarters. And it was a progressive process for me to get to that point. And then, of course, right now, I think in terms of 1, 3, 5, 10, 15 years. But telling me to think long-term doesn't mean jack crap. Because again, long-term is subjective. It's relative. So long-term for me as an apprentice was 3 days. Like for real. That was super long-term. Long-term for me now is 15 to 25 years, but it was progressive. And so anyways, understanding or having that revelation, if you will, helps me translate between the different levels of organizations when I'm helping companies. Like, bro, like it's not that they don't care. You're speaking in a time zone that they have no connection with. So if you keep talking about Q3, Q4, Q5, Q6, they don't know what the heck, like those are, are we playing pool? Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. But so frame it in the time zone that they understand, that they can wrap their hands around. And so it's just a little, again, back to like the listening with your ears and your eyes. It was those things looking back that I've been able to see like, only until recently that I was able to make those distinctions. There was thinking that happened along the way, but now I'm able to like tease it out and frame it in such a way that helps leaders out there be gooder.
Yeah, I may have missed. I thought you were going to hit me with 3 things. I got zoom level and time horizon.
Oh yeah. Nope. I haven't given you the third one.
Okay. So I'm a good student, you see.
Yeah. The third one is lingo. And it's the words that we use. So as an installer, right, I used to get Jess, you got to hurry up. We're running out of hours. We're almost out of budget. And I'd say, okay. I don't install hours, I don't install budget, and I don't install dollars. I don't like, it has no meaning to me, right? You're telling me all I'm hearing is hurry up, which is no different than anything I've heard my whole career as an apprentice. Because I think in units of installation, right? Like what do I install things. So if you tell me that I need to install 38 clevis hangers by lunchtime, I understand that. And then if I don't hit 38 clevis hangers, I miss the target. Telling me we're out of budget or out of hours doesn't mean anything to me. So as an installer, we think in units of installation, right? Now, when I got to the foreman level, all of a sudden, I care about hours, right? Because that's what I'm managing. How many labor hours per task code and all these other things. When I got further up the ladder, they're talking in dollars because they're looking at line items for non-labor activities, material costs, rental costs, like all of the stuff. And so that's the world that they live in. So from units of installation to hours to dollars, we're all talking about the same thing. Through my years of maturing, I've been able to understand like, oh, it's not that they don't care, right? You know how many freaking leaders, you probably had heard one or two people tell you, we just need people who give a shit. And it's like,
I think I said that yesterday.
Right. And it's like, okay, what the hell does that mean? Well, they don't even care that we're going over budget. Maybe you're using the wrong damn words, right? Like if you're not talking about work in place units of installation to an installer, you're speaking Greek, man. And so again, being able to kind of look and say, oh, it's not that they don't care. You do have people that give a shit. You're just expecting them to give a shit more than you do. And how do I know? It's because you're not even trying to speak their language and you're the freaking leader. And so again, that's the third thing in terms of like how my thinking has evolved or matured from the time I was an installer to now. And more importantly, it's some of the, like one of the things that I get to like peel apart and help people look at it from a different lens, because guess what? The world does not revolve around you. Maybe me, but definitely not you.
Fair enough. I've noticed that actually being sitting in the chair I am. I will tell you this. I find it interesting because I took some really good notes, and all of the things that you're talking about from a personal maturity perspective, I believe are the same reasons our construction schedules fail. Due to a lack of maturity in the same three levels. We don't talk the same Zoom levels. We don't talk the same time horizons, and we don't use the same words that the people that actually mean something to the people in the field. We don't communicate, and then to just make it worse, we just add so much data that it's just super confusing and nobody can understand it. And
more reports are going to make it better.
I really like where you're heading there. How do you like where does somebody start? Do you start with the lingo? Do you start with the language? Do you start with the time horizons? Do you where do you begin in that maturity?
Well, that takes us to my maturity and thinking in the lean world or in the lean vein. Right?
Oh, there's a whole second column. Yeah.
So where do you start with lean or with this maturity thing? Let the problem pull the tool. Right? So what is the problem we're discussing? What is the thing we want to accomplish? If I see, I'll frame it this way. If I have an apprentice that is always broke on Monday and eating bologna and mayonnaise with one slice of bread every day of the week, how do I know that life? Because I lived it, right? I can tell that they have a time horizon problem, right? Because they spent all their damn money on Friday and Saturday at the strip joint, right? Because she really, really likes him. So I will decide, all right, there's the evidence, right? The indicators that I can help him with this gap. And so if he has a time horizon gap, I start talking about that thing in terms of hey man, how much did you make on Friday, right? How much cash, how much did you spend at whatever, how much do you like your lunch? And starting to say, hey man, instead of like next week, I want to go to lunch on Wednesday, but you're going to need $20 so that we can go to lunch, right? We're going to take an extra hour of lunch, but you're going to pay for your lunch and you need $20. So now he has to think beyond Friday so that he can have that $20 on Wednesday, and I'm expanding his time horizon. Does that make sense? I mean, that's kind of a generic, but
you're also pulling. You're like using the pull the tool. Yeah.
Yep. And so depending on the problem, right? If there's a problem where I'm telling him you need to hurry up because we're running out of hours, and he looks at me and says, "Oh, okay." It's like, oh, clearly he has no understanding that I need him to be installing, that we have to install 160 foot of pipe every day, which means we got to install 20 foot of pipe every hour. Right. And so again, let the problem pull the tool. Understand your person. How? By listening to them to understand what Zoom level or lingo or time zone they're operating in, and meet them where they're at. Now, does that answer your question in terms of where to start?
I think so. It's a framework, and I think you're telling me it doesn't matter. Just listen to where somebody is and try and identify one of those three things. Either is there a Zoom problem? Is there a time horizon? And maybe it's not even a problem. Maybe it's just a disconnect, right? Is there a Zoom level disconnect, a time horizon disconnect, or a lingo disconnect? There's generally, you can find the solution and the answer to one of those three questions.
Agreed. Now, the last statement you said is right. Pick a problem. Again, another one of those things in terms of how my thinking has evolved around lean is I used to, like, you and I have the same affliction, right? And most of the folks out here that are listening to this, to the Lean Builder podcast, are driven crazy by waste and inefficiency, right? Like it drives us up the damn wall. And so what does that do? It creates this compulsion to fix it, right? Now, back to, is it even a problem? My thinking used to be, I used to walk the job and make a list of all the inefficiencies that needed to be optimized and all the 8 ways. And I would give it to the people and say, why are you doing it? Work smarter, not harder. You should do it this way. Here's a list, do these things and leave and come back. And they'd be pissed and nobody would do it, right? Or they would do it when I was present. And as soon as I left, they did whatever the hell they wanted. The issue there was we had not gained agreement. Well, one of the issues there was we had not gained agreement on the problem, right? And so I'm going to tell the Lean Builder Nation the total 100% foolproof, fastest way to solve any freaking problem. Do you know what it is, Adam? Any problem.
I mean, my guess would be to ask some questions is what you're going to say, or listen, one of the two.
It's easier than that.
Oh, man.
Decide it's not a problem.
Fair. Ignore it? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying decide it's not a problem.
But don't problems get worse that way?
They could. And so what?
I guess you can always change your mind and decide it's a problem later, right?
And now we're talking, right? Okay. So now we're talking about being strategic. There's don't worry about deciding it's not a problem because you got a bunch of them. You got 99 and 1.
Hashtag right? Pick your problem. Yeah.
pick your problem. And if you can't get agreement on the problem, decide it's not a problem and pick another damn problem. Like it's that easy. Period. Simple. How do we get buy-in? Get agreement on the problem. If you've decided that it's a problem that I don't give a damn about, guess what you ain't gonna get from me? Buy-in, right? Yeah. And so pick your problem, get agreement on the problem. When you can't, pick another problem. Not hard. Now, the other really key thing in terms of how my thinking around the lean stuff has evolved is when I first got introduced to it, it was all about making everybody more efficient. And so you were not a human being to me. You were a button and a lever for me to push and pull so that I could beat my budget so that I could get my bonus. So if I could make you faster, I put more money in my pocket and I used all the little bit of lean that I knew back then to make that happen. You want to know how many people liked me? 0, right? Like nobody appreciated me. I was undervalued, but I was a jerk. Like I didn't care.
I bet the CEO liked you. You're making that money, baby.
we're making money. Yeah. Until I discovered or decided, again, I think it's a decision thing. I decided that all of the lean stuff that I know about and don't know about and have experimented with and failed with and been extremely successful with, all of it is a system, mechanism, methods for building capability in my people. Specifically, building problem-solving capabilities in my people. And we build those problem-solving capabilities by improving work. The removal of waste, the improvement of work is just the venue to develop problem-solving capabilities so that we can develop people. And that's where I'm at with lean. It's not an optimization tool. It's not all that other crap. For me anyways. For you, you can leave it the way you want it. But that's what it is to me. And it took there was a whole lot of like painful awakenings that helped me get to my current understanding.
Yeah. I like the concept of problem solving capabilities. I think I agree. I'll put it that way. I mean, I've personally just stopped using the term other when I say, "What's up, y'all? This is Adam Hoots, the lean builder," blah, blah. And so I've stopped using the term. Recent visits in Japan, there's a gentleman that said, well, lean is just the Westerner's way, or the Westerner's word to describe the many complex theories that exist. It's like, yeah, you're probably right. But I like where you're at. You're framing it as, hey, we're just developing people's capabilities to attack what's in their way. And yeah, I'm a fan of it. I guess I love how you frame it there. Yeah. Man, I got so many. Okay. So, well, let's just keep going down the lean road, right? Because we do have a big event coming up here in the next couple of months where a bunch of lean freaks get together.
Yes.
I have noticed some pretty decent, I'll say, improv acting skills that you and several others have been have put out there for us to enjoy. What I guess what's going on in your home state of Texas there in the next couple of months?
Hashtag LCI Congress 25 is going down in Arlington in October. Our sister Jennifer Lacey and brother Keon Zandy are the co-chairs of the event. And that's why you see me putting out so much junk. And like, I got to give a shout out, man. Terry Proffer, Byron, Bernard, Demetria, Jamie, and Ben they all like said, hell yeah, we'll get in these videos. So we had, like you said, we're doing this improv thing. Like those guys, that group has come through big on just being comfortable and doing fun stuff to let people know, right? This thing is happening. And we want people to be there because of the human experience, because, I mean, I'll just say this for me. I don't get a lot out of the content at Congress. I never have. Maybe it's because I'm a snob, right? But I just
probably. You gotta listen and ask more questions, and then hold on. What is it? And then call out what you see. Oh, yeah. Don't do that far. Call out what
you see. But what I do get a lot out of is being like in a place with a concentration of construction professionals that want to make the industry better. Like a dense concentration of forward-thinking, people-centered leaders. That's what I get out of it. And that's why, I'm so committed to it. I'm trying to help. And I need the Lean Builder Nation, right? Like we're trying to set an all-time record. And all you got to do is register.
Yeah, and it gets more expensive by the day. So get out there, register now, right? They've got a whole page on how to sell it to your company. If we have owners reps listening, they actually have scholarships for owners reps to attend. You can go hit the website. I'm sure it's LCI Congress or visit leanconstructioninstitute.org and you can find it out there. But yeah, I love what you're doing. And you're right. Like it's, they do have a wonderful learning day. I think that does have a ton of value add content.
Yes.
I think you're kind of more referring to the presentations, the Wednesday, Thursday, where it's like, hey, look at all the awesome things we're doing.
Yes.
And those are great too. And there is good learnings there. But can you give the people just a sneak peek into I think it's Tuesday is the learning day. And I think there's even a session with this young, skinny, jacked plumber guy. Give us a preview into that, will you?
Yeah. So luckily, my what do you call it? What do they call those? The abstract. My abstract made the cut for learning day. So we got on Tuesday. I have a full day workshop, and we're gonna have some gangsta baller co-facilitators there that day too. So Tuesday, 8-hour workshop on sweat equity improvement, teaching twisting brains so that they can humanize the work, optimize the execution of the work, and scale the improvements that they find in the process. And I got Adam, who, this dude, Adam, I've heard of him. It's like a lean dude.
Be careful with that guy. Here he's a jerk. He can be mean from time to time. Yeah.
So Adam, Lynn Randall out of California, Jennifer Lacey, and Sean Moran are it's gonna be a party. Like, thank you.
That's
Adam,
like almost the original emotional bungee jumper group, man. We're only missing a couple of folks there.
Right.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Oh, so awesome. And so because you've been through it. You've been through the virtual version, and it's super interactive, right? We teach the concept, and people are going to have to get up and do work and have arguments and discussions and quibble about value add and incidental, but that's the point. That's where the learning happens. And so breaking everybody up into groups, I was like, man, I'm going to need some facilitators, and y'all, the people that I just listed off, were brave enough to go through the virtual version. So you have an understanding. Also, y'all are like massively people-centered. So I was like, man, I need some help. Let me ask my people. And here we are. So that's going to be going down on Tuesday. Don't forget to sign up for it.
Yeah, no doubt. It'll definitely be worth it. Again, 8 hours with Jess. I mean, who wouldn't pass up that opportunity, right?
It's good.
I think, and not to like, for me, I've been really trying to, with what I learned in Japan of lean being this like really one word to describe the complex. I've been trying to think about personally how I simplify what I talk about lean. And for me, it comes down to really two things. And it's like one is, how are we going to plan for as much flow as possible on this project? And I think there's many different ways. Like, I love, oh yeah, by the way, hashtag pull the tool. So I own that one now too. I love that concept, right? Because we have to let the jobs pull the tool. It doesn't matter. Like, some jobs, CPM's great. Some jobs, tax wonderful. Sometimes we might use Scrum. And you know what? You're probably going to start shaking your head no after I say this one, but we might not use emotional bungee jumper on this next job, right? Because it's not the tool that the job's pulling. And like when I hear, so again, two focuses on lean for me. It's one, how do we plan to get as much flow as we possibly can on the project? And then two, it's like, okay, once we've got to the project and we've mobilized, well, guess what? We better go out to the field and figure out how can we get as much additional flow as we possibly can in this situation. And that's a different set of skills. That's this, trust building, asking the right questions, making people think such that they self-discover. And all of these are kind of these natural skills that I think you're going to put on display on that Tuesday. So I really, really hope people sign up. Again, a day with you, with me, with Jennifer, with Sean, with Lynn, like there's total value in itself there. So I look forward to seeing the Lean Builder Nation showing up in droves to support you, one, but most importantly, LCI and like you said, just a community of people who want to see a better industry, and not just want it, but are doing things such that it is a better industry.
They are action people, man. And I want to be clear. That's not everybody that goes to Congress that has that heart. Like 100%. It's not everybody. But the concentration of people that are there with that heart, those are the ones I'm there for.
Well, and let's have that conversation real quick, because I've seen, like personally, I have witnessed LCI over the last, I would say, 2 years or so. Like about the time I was like, all right, like I feel like I got canceled almost from LCI in a way. But in the last 2 years, I think they've been very strategic about making some really good hires. I think they're on the search for a new CEO right now. I think they're being very intentional about that. I see change happening there. I really, and maybe it's just my optimistic hope, I guess. Let's have that conversation. What do you see happening at LCI right now?
Well, I'll speak directly to my involvement on the planning committee for Congress, because, right, like I have issues with the way it functions, and there's no value in talking about it because we ain't going to do nothing about it. LCI as an organization. But being on the planning committee for Congress, I'm kind of infectious, right? In a good way and a bad way, Adam. And so what I've been able to see is not just me, but Jen and Keon, like the whole planning committee has had some really great ideas. And I think back to kind of the action point we made earlier, right? People that are coming to kind of like a lot of them are actually doing something to leave the industry better than they found it. I think, one, the LCI staff is understaffed. There's a ton of work that they do and carry on their own. And I think what's making it different now is maybe there's a higher frequency or a deeper concentration of action people, not idea fairies, right? And so you have this nonprofit organization that doesn't have anywhere near the people they need to execute the current workload. And then you have idea fairies that come and say, you should do this, we should do this, we should try that, and then they float away and expect the current over leveraged staff to pick that up, and they can't pick it up. Why? Because they're freaking drowning. And so with this planning committee, there's a whole bunch of people that they're like, hey, I have an idea and this is what I want to do. I'm going to push the buttons. I'm going to send the invites. I'm going to make it happen. You're invited, which is very different, right? Because now we're not putting the pressure on the staff because they already have their work cut out for them. We have committee members championing and doing the homework, doing the legwork, and bringing across the finish line their ideas. And so there's that. And like I said, they get invited to play. So we started doing the live streams of a bunch of live streams around Congress-centered live streams. We'll just call it that. And it was a little scary, not for me, but for them. Like, well, what are you going to, like, it's Jesse, what's he going to do? And now it's like, oh my God, we need to have more. I was just talking to Eileen. She's in charge of sponsors, right? And exhibitors. And we are on pace to blow out the record of sponsorship and exhibitors, right?
Nice. And
she's like, all right, we did a live stream. She's like, okay, Jess, we need to coordinate this live stream, this live stream, this live stream for the people. I'm like, at first it's like, I don't know. And now it's like, fool, we need to get them on the calendar.
Now at first she was like, I don't know. Now you're like, I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So I think it's that, right? It's the same thing in management and leading a project team, leading a business unit, leading a department. Telling people that this thing would be better if is not the same as saying, hey, I'm going to show you how much better this thing is. And I think we got a lot of that. And again, of course, within the planning committee, but I think beyond that, right? Henry Nutt's on the board. They got some really forward-thinking people that are make it happeners, not idea fairies.
Yeah, I read this book once. Have you ever? I don't know if you know this book. It's called Becoming the Promise You're Intended to Be.
Yes.
One of the things that I learned in this book is very specifically is be the change that you seek in this world. And I hear you saying that, those people are starting to show up at LCI, right? We are starting to take more of an interest and not be such complainers, but let's fix it. And let's dive in. We're done asking questions. We're done having, it's time to roll the sleeves up, take some action and make things happen. And what's awesome is there's not just Congress isn't the only opportunity, right? There are communities of practice all over the country that folks can go sign up, hit events. We actually have one on Thursday where we're doing a sneak preview for the old dog presentation that got accepted. And so, yeah, it's awesome. It's brilliant. They actually, Laura Hernandez, she's also been, I think, cameoing in some of your events. Yeah, she's my champion. I'm sure that was strategically planned. But she wanted our presentation. And I was like, what do you mean? There is no presentation. I don't know what to tell you. We don't have a presentation. So we're going to try and do this thing with no slide deck. I love how I just in real time censored myself. That was
yeah.
But the plan is to go up there and just have a lean coffee and just come up with some topics. Hopefully the audience will be able to throw some topics up there and just allow the old dogs to chop it up and communicate. And for those of you that don't know, the Old Dogs is a community of lean builders that Buddy Brumley, God rest his soul, it's been 1 year now, actually, in a couple weeks. But Buddy and I wrote the book, The Old Dog Lean Thesaurus. We've had old dog superintendents come in for the last 6 years, just come into biweekly meetings where we chop it up and share the knowledge that we've gained over our careers. And it's a beautiful way to answer the knowledge gap that exists and is widening in the industry. People are dying at a rate of 7 to 1 entering the business. And so huge knowledge loss there that we're trying to answer. We're actually doing something to answer that gap. So,
well, I'm gonna double tap on that. I think the lean, the old dog community represents something deeper. And what I think it is there's an assumption that the old dogs in the industry don't care or don't value or need community. And the old dog community is proof that not only that they care, but that they need community. And it's not hard to make that happen, right? Giving other superintendents a venue to badmouth, to vent, to think forward, their shared experience it's a mental health thing, right? We need community. And so I think that's what the old dogs do. And that's why I'm happy there's going to be a Congress, because it'll help other people in the room say, oh shit, those guys are meeting and once a month to talk about superintendent stuff. Where has this been my whole career? So anyways, for me, that's the thing that I appreciate and respect most about your old dog community. I think it's important work. And of course, Buddy had something to do with that because he's amazing.
Is the old dog, the OG old dog lean builder, a legend, man. Thank you for that. I guess I appreciate your words there. I think it has become somewhat of a way where, again, we're typically on job sites scattered throughout the country.
Right.
And you're usually alone as a superintendent running 10, 20, $30 million projects. Maybe you have a PM that pops in from time to time, but there's a lot of alone time, a lot of frustration, a lot of stepping on your own toes. And it is nice to get a group of folks who are like-minded, who are also stepping on their own toes, who aren't in the same company or even in the same region. And so there's this cross-company line mentorship, coaching thing that really happens. And we actually use your emotional bungee jumper exercise from time to time, and we'll hop in and we'll work on our coaching abilities, our questions. So it is a way to develop our capabilities, but at the same time, I love what you're saying. It's a mental health, a stress, pressure relief valve, if you will.
Yep.
And we got some big plans. Sam Sinclair, one of the old dogs, just released his book. It's called Brace Me. Yeah.
Is it this
nice. One? That's the one I'm talking about. Yes, sir. So super proud of that guy, man. That was a long time coming. And then since he's launched that, there's been 3 other old dogs that have told me they're working on their books. And
nice.
Like for me personally, that is something that I am like so incredibly proud of. Like my name's my name's scattered throughout the thing because Sam's my guy, but like, it's his book, it's his thing, it's his knowledge that he's going to leave this world. And I know I've got 2 of your books. I listen. I'm an avid listener to the Learnings and Missteps podcast. Yep. I do my best to attend the No BS with Jen and Jess. What's on your horizon? What's next for the Peacock here?
Oh, that's an interesting question. I think the next big thing that I'm obsessing about is completing a full Ironman by December of next year.
What's an iron? Like, break that down for us who are job site junkies who don't get out much.
I don't even know, like the numbers are going to be wrong, but it's running 26.2 miles, swimming something like 2 or 3 miles, and biking 100+ miles in a day.
Wow. Okay.
So why?
Yeah. What's wrong with you? Besides everything.
Right. Besides everything. So there's a couple of things, right? I'm obsessive and I'm impatient. And so if I don't have big things that are going to force me to learn and understand my limitations, I make selfish, short-sighted decisions. And so, like, I'm building a business. I'm trying to build the online thing, the self-first time mastery framework, which is helping people learn how to prioritize themselves and build themselves into their calendar so that they can experience more fulfillment, so that they can serve better. It's going to take me a long time to like tease all of that out and propagate it to the degree that I want to propagate it. And so I need something bigger, longer, harder that is going to keep me occupied, so that I can let that thing grow as organically as possible without me pushing it till it dies. And so that's one thing. The other thing other reason is I've learned, kind of like the book, right? I'm living proof of a lot of things. And so I feel almost a responsibility to do things that really that are impractical, that don't make sense, that are ridiculous almost, to show people, to be evidence to others that they can do it too, right? Like, yeah. I was in rehab for 30 days. I've been in jail I don't know how many times. There's just so many of those experiences that I have that when I was having them, I thought it was the end of my life. When I decided not to go to university, I thought I was, there was a cap or a limit to how much I could earn. When I decided to be an apprentice, I thought I was only ever going to be a dirty plumber. And so when I got my arm ripped open with the broken bottle, I thought I was never going to throw a baseball again, right? There's all these things that I've been through and experienced. And when I experienced them, I thought it was the end of the line. I thought it was final. And it freaking wasn't. And so now I'm a 208-pound, 48-year-old hair-thinning man, which that data says, there ain't no way you're doing an Ironman and I want to prove that I can, so that other people can see that they can too. That's why.
I love it, man. You just explained somebody this morning, actually, Samantha. I was talking to her. I'm going to do an interview with her, and she was like prepping and all this stuff. And I'm like, I was all over the place. And she asked me, why are you doing your PhD? And you just nailed it perfectly. It's like, man, because it's hard, and I want other people to realize that they can do it too. It's if you just break it down step by step, right? Yeah, I like that. That's in fact, your brother, shout out to Durone Styles, baby. He introduced me to this word misagi. I think I'm saying that right.
Okay.
It's a Japanese word for like personal challenge or adventure, or I think his was like he was going to run a marathon or do a ultra mudder race or something along those lines.
Did that. The Spartan.
I remember. Yeah, the Spartan race. That's right. Yeah, I actually got some good content out of him. I interviewed him a few episodes back. Anyway, so he introduced me to that word misogi, MySogi, and it's a Japanese word that means like personal challenge. It's a little bit out of your reach. It's going to drive you to that next level or awakening almost.
Yes.
Beautiful. I love it. So Ironman, Peacock having, Depth Builder, LCI promoting. There you have. Hey, by the way, I've seen some pretty cool Depth Builder gear, and I need to know where I can find some of that, because I'm coming to Texas in a couple of months, and I wanted to make sure I can sport some clean stuff. So I'm advocating for a trade here. I'm going to be bringing some swag with me as well. So let's see what we can work out, Chuy, huh?
Yeah. Lean Builder Nation out there, you want some Depth Builder swag? Word is there's going to be a private exclusive happy hour Tuesday evening.
Only.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's what I heard. We'll see.
See. All right. I guess I'll look for my invitation in the mail, maybe. I don't know. Or I'll just break down the door when I find your location. Maybe I'll do that, huh? What else, Jess? Like, I don't want to limit this thing, but I don't know what kind of time you have. But like, what didn't we cover this so far that the Lean Builder Nation, the people need to know?
Yeah, I think the number one thing that the Lean Builder Nation needs to absolutely know is that they are not alone, right? Whatever pain, failure, mistake, fear, insecurity that you have, or like, you are not the only freaking person that has ever had that situation. You're not alone. All you have to do is say, there's two phrases. They're totally terrifying, but I promise you, if you say them, they are liberating. One is, I don't know. The other is, I need help. If you start practicing and using those 3-word phrases, your life will change dramatically. If you're already doing that, do it more and make sure the younglings know that you're doing it. But more importantly, if you haven't, and if you think you're alone, you think you're the only one, that you're defective, something's wrong with you, you're less than, you're not enough, you're wrong. And start using those 2 phrases. I don't know, and I need help, and your world will change.
So can I push back on you a little bit here? Like, if we run around saying more that we don't know, and I need help, like, at some point, doesn't that indicate a competency problem?
Not if you have a competency, yes, if you have a competency problem, say so. I don't understand how that's a problem.
I guess you're advocating for us to say that in a scenario where we don't know the answer, not just to make up some bullshido to send somebody on a crane or a beam stretching adventure, right? Like,
Correct.
that's what you're saying. Don't, yeah, okay. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hard phrase to say, especially for an old school builder who the job relies on them to lead the job. What do you mean you don't know? Like, well, because
Well, I mean, that's the funny thing is you think, or those old school builders think the job relies on them.
yeah.
It doesn't. I promise you, if your ass died, that building will still get done without your ass. Guaranteed. So if you think, you really, really believe that project will not finish without you, you're a damn fool.
You're wrong. Yeah, it might take a little longer. Yeah, maybe not. I guess I see you kind of. I don't know, but
Doesn't matter. It will get done without you. Period.
yeah. Huh. So then, yeah. So you got to ask yourself then, what is important here then, right? Like,
Yes.
yeah. Here we are in that self-discovering adventure again, yet again with Mr. Hernandez. Yeah. What else, man?
I think that's enough. I think that little slap in the face, we should just let it in there, man.
Yeah.
They're either gonna hate me or they're gonna love me, but they ain't gonna forget me.
Yeah, they're gonna hate and love you, but they definitely won't forget you. Yeah, that's at least that's been my personal experience. And I only hate you when you're right. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I want you to have the last word, and I'm just gonna go off the screen, man, and you tell the Lean Builder Nation whatever message it is, and maybe it's you don't have anything. Maybe you just come off the screen too. But what's the Lean Builder Nation for how do we change this industry?
Be kind to yourself, be cool, and we'll talk at you next time. Peace.